Εξομολογήστε τον Κύριο διαγατός, αλληλούια, ότι στον αιώνα το έλεος αυτού, αλληλούια.
Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name is Nick, the master prayer knot artist behind Orthodox Handmade, and welcome to our 34th episode on YouTube, where I will be answering questions regarding prayer rope tutorials, Catholics using Orthodox prayer ropes, skull beading, using crystals for icons, prayer rope orders, along with a few others. Be sure to watch until the end, where I will address the most detailed question of today's episode. Before we begin, if you're new to the channel and appreciate content revolving around Orthodox prayer ropes and Orthodoxy in general, consider becoming a subscriber to the channel. Also, be sure to give this video a like and share as well. This tells YouTube that you're enjoying the content, so YouTube will then recommend this video to more of the faithful. It's the easiest and best way to support the channel, and it's also free, so thank you very much in advance for doing so. We have now surpassed 5,400 faithful YouTube subscribers, and in keeping with tradition, this episode's new subscriber shoutout goes to Paranoid Times. Thank you very much for subscribing to Orthodox Handmade. It is very, very much appreciated. Now let's jump right in. Firstly, I always seem to get asked if I have tutorials on how to make Orthodox prayer ropes. Whilst I take this as extremely flattering, the answer is no, I don't. With the amount of orders I have in queue, I simply do not have the time to create tutorials as well. I have even been asked on multiple occasions if I can provide paid one-on-one lessons via Zoom. Again, whilst I'm more than flattered at that request and that so many people wish to learn my tips and tricks on how to create such beautiful tools for prayer, it is once again, unfortunately, a no. Number 2. Why are you always using skull beads? Are you promoting Satanism? What is the reason for such beadings? What's wrong with you? Blah, blah, blah. Guys, to answer this, I will direct you to a very detailed video that I created some time ago entitled Orthodox Skull Symbolism, where I've provided a very in-depth answer to destroy the opinions of those who feel that skulls don't belong on a prayer rope, even though skull symbolism is extremely prominent in Orthodox Christianity and always will be. That episode will be linked as the upcoming episode at the end of this video, so stay tuned and watch that one as well. The third question I get asked all the time is, why are you using crystals to create Orthodox icons? Isn't the use of crystals banned in Orthodoxy? Now, traditional Orthodox icons are mostly made using wood as the main material. However, there are many who depict iconography on rocks, stones, or precious crystals such as agate, rose, or clear quartz, obsidian, etc. There is absolutely nothing wrong with using materials such as crystals for icons, and this is the reason. It is because they are a naturally occurring earthly material the exact same way wood is. I believe the confusion may be stemming from some people believing that crystals have their own special healing powers. This is something that is not believed in Orthodoxy. However, to use such natural materials for icons is most definitely okay. Another question is, can you notify me when you're opening your orders for prayer ropes again? Now, whilst I appreciate those who request such a notification are eager not to miss out when limited positions do eventually open, I unfortunately do not do individual notifications or messages, and the main reason being that I would never get off my phone if I did. I receive many messages on a daily basis and always encourage the faithful to keep up to date with my stories on Instagram and Facebook, where I am quite active. There will also be a post leading up to the open date, which is likely to be mid to late November 2024. And keep in mind that positions usually fill within under half an hour, so apologies in advance if your custom order cannot be taken this time around. Now the next question. Are your pieces blessed? This comes up quite frequently, and the faithful inquire about this not only for my handmade prayer ropes, but also icons, faith flags, decorative crucifixes, and pretty much all other offerings from Orthodox Handmade. Pieces from Orthodox Handmade do not come blessed, and the reason is that once an item is blessed by a priest, that item should remain in the Orthodox Church for 40 days. Now imagine this, waiting the extremely long lead time for me to just see your prayer rope order in queue, hand make it, then wait another 40 days after it having been blessed prior to shipping it to you. I always encourage the faithful to have their pieces blessed by their priest in their church. This way, the blessing is that touch more significant to the client. Now, before we continue with this episode, be sure to follow Orthodox Handmade on both Instagram and Facebook. We have surpassed 6,000 Facebook followers and almost reached an amazing Instagram milestone of 40,000 followers, guys. All prayer ropes and crystal icons are posted on both platforms, along with all pre-order opportunities offered to the faithful, and Instagram is where frequent giveaway competitions are held. Currently, all order inquiries are taken via direct message on either platform, and payments are made via direct transfer if in Australia, or PayPal payments transfer for international orders. Please feel welcome to reach out at any time, and thank you so much for your support of Orthodox Handmade. Now back to the episode. Question number 6 comes mostly in the YouTube comments from people with no social media accounts. They state that they have no social media presence and ask if Orthodox Handmade has an email which they can specify orders to. Unfortunately, I don't take order requests via email, guys, and the reason is I rarely check Orthodox Handmade email, which was created purely for this channel, but also I like to keep all correspondence on Instagram and Facebook, and found this method of communication to be quite streamlined. This may change in the future, but as my limited prayer rope order commissions only open every few months and usually fill within half an hour, this avenue may not be the right fit for me. Question number 7. Is it traditional to pray the Jesus prayer on the beads of the prayer rope as well? No, guys. No. Prayers are to be recited on each hand-tied prayer knot. The role of the beads are mainly for splitting groups of prayer knots, usually every 10, 20 or 25, as well as decoration. In saying this, not every single prayer rope has beading. I've created many that have none whatsoever, which assists in continual prayer without interference of the beads. Number 8. Should Roman Catholics recite the Jesus prayer and own an Orthodox prayer rope? Now, I'd like to say here that the Jesus prayer is not just for Eastern Orthodox Christians, but the heritage of all Christians in total. An Orthodox prayer rope could be taken up by a Catholic if the individual wants to. Is it morally okay to do so? Yes, it is. But on the other hand, I would also ask, has the Catholic individual given their own ritual heritage its due? For instance, how often does he or she pray the Rosary? I have handmade many pieces for Roman Catholic and Byzantine Catholic clients in the past, but I have not created or sold rosary beads. The reason why I offer my pieces to non-Orthodox Christians is to first and foremost inspire them to become even closer to Christ via my personal handmade work, and secondly, to motivate them to delve more into Orthodoxy. Now, the final question is quite a detailed one and comes from a faithful brother on Instagram. Quote, I am new to Eastern Christianity and am looking to obtain my first prayer rope. I have seen that there are different knot amounts, the most common being 33 to represent the years Jesus spent alive on earth. If this is the most common, is it really difficult to keep track of the Jesus prayer this way? As a discipline, aren't Christians supposed to recite a certain number each day? I know this is at the discretion of a spiritual director, but having read The Way of the Pilgrim, it seemed like this was how it was traditionally done. Is that only a rule for monastics? Or do all newcomers start with verbal recitation of X amount and then move up to double that and then triple that until they are so in sync with the prayer that they can recite it unceasingly? I just questioned the 33 knot one because it's not a nice rounded number like the 50, 100 knot, 150 knot, etc. Doesn't it make keeping track of the number of Jesus prayers you recite difficult? Or are laity not supposed to count and just pray it as often as we can throughout the day? This is a great question here, guys. Now, the Jesus prayer as described in The Way of the Pilgrim is a particular style of prayer discipline. It is far from the most common. To the degree laity do the Jesus prayer, amount and frequency is decided in consultation with a spiritual father and not according to a formula or the internet. A newcomer is unlikely to be taught to do the Jesus prayer in any particularly disciplined way. They will be taught it as a short prayer that can be done at any time. A newcomer will start with more typical morning and evening prayers. Now, a 33-knot prayer rope is likely a safe way for beginners. Thinking about whether a number is nice and round or whatever is overthinking things. Remember, no prayer is a magical spell. The Way of the Pilgrim records a particular idealized experience. It should not be taken as a predictive or normal experience. It's typically advised that you start small and verbally. I hand make 33-knot pieces as pocket prayer ropes to be taken with you everywhere you go. It is intended to be used throughout the day whenever you have a quiet moment alone or you're unoccupied. Pieces such as the most commonly requested 100-knot and higher are intended for deeper prayer within the home. So my advice would be to pray with focus and sincerity, and don't worry about reciting X amount of prayers per day, as this may get overwhelming. Start small, there's no rush. It makes sense for you to recite 33 or 50 daily prayers with true conviction, which is much better than 100 prayers or more recited half-heartedly. Well, there you have it, guys. I sincerely hope that you've enjoyed this episode and have gained some insight into the questions I receive as a master prayer knot artist. I'd be very interested to read your thoughts in the comments section below. Let me know if you found value in this episode, or if you have a question of your own that I may be able to assist with in a future episode. I do my very best to respond to as many comments as possible, and once again, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, turn your notifications on, and stay tuned to watch the upcoming episode on Orthodox skull symbolism that will appear on your screen now. Thank you very much for tuning in again, and until next time, stay safe and God bless.